Ciao, buongiorno. Are you ready to cook like an Italian? I sure hope so, because you don't want to miss out. I'm carving a pasta bowl for you. I'm getting all the cheese out of the bottom because this is where we're going to put our Caccio e Pepe today. This is the craziest, silliest thing in the whole wide world. What is Caccio e Pepe? It's the biggest trend going on in Italian cooking right now. Okay, it's pasta, it's cheese, it's pepper, and it's pasta water. That's it. But everybody loves it. It's really comfort food. I want to thank my sponsors, Queen Creek Olive Mill, today for making this dish so spectacular. I've got lots of choices today. Meyer lemon, basil. I think I'm going to go with the Pure Estate olive oil today. You can find out all of their wonderful products at Queen Creek olivemill.com, and also the Arizona Farm Bureau, where the dairy cows are abundant in Arizona. Believe it or not, we have 300 days of sunshine. They milk cows almost every single day. So that's where you get some beautiful cheeses. This came from Italy, of course. Okay, Caccio e Pepe. I can't even tell you how simple it is. So if you're not doing it like this, you're just going to do it in a big pot. But I've got some beautiful spaghetti here. I'm going to pour that right into my bowl that I carved for you. When I was in Italy, when I was 18 years old, I remember cooking like this, and it just stole my heart. Okay, besides the pasta, you're going to need a whole lot of either Parmesan Reggiano, Pecorino Romano, a combination of both, lots of cheese, okay? Just like that. Using my mama's 90-year-old cheese grater, gotta have that by my side all the time. How are we gonna get that incorporated? We're gonna add the pasta water. Pasta water has the starch in it and a little bit of flavor because you've salted it with 1 tablespoon of salt. This is so exciting. And pepper. Caccio e Pepe means cheese and pepper. That's exactly what that means. So you need a lot of pepper and a little bit of salt, just a tiny bit, because the cheese is so salty as it is. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to incorporate all this cheese. And as you're incorporating, you're going to scrape the bottom because that hot water is kind of softening the cheese, and that's going to give it so much flavor. You know, I worry about this cheese round. I'm afraid somebody's going to steal it from my home. I better insure it. It's just such a fantastic thing. The great thing about a cheese wheel like this is you can use it over and over and over again. It's kind of a fun party food, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and scrape a little bit more of that cheese. Incorporate that. Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. Well, I'm going to add a little bit more pepper to that, and maybe just a tiny bit more of the grated cheese. Yeah, that should do it right there. And this is how you serve it. This is Caccio e Pepe. Spaghetti, cheese, pepper, and pasta water, and maybe a tiny bit of salt. And that is all there is to Caccio e Pepe. I don't know why it became so popular, but I do know that peasant food, Italian peasant food, has always been so popular. Italian food in general, because it's simple, very few ingredients, and the last thing I want to do is top it with this beautiful Estate extra virgin olive oil from Queen Creek Olive Mill. They do a wonderful job. I just have to tell you, it's a family-owned business. The Rea family came from Detroit. They were so cold, they took a trip out to Arizona, fell in love, found out that there were some olive trees there. They moved the entire family from Detroit to Queen Creek, Arizona. They started growing olive trees, and they now have 100 acres with 12,000 trees and 16 different varieties. Their oil is unbelievable, and you can find it at queencreekolivemill.com. Okay, are you ready for a little Caccio e Pepe? I know I am. If I can grab my fork. Let's just see what it needs here, besides my smile. Patience, patience. Mmm. Mm, 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 mm. Welcome back to Cook Like an Italian. For this recipe, we're cooking out of my cookbook, Mama and Me and You. I wrote this with my mama. She is now 97 years old from Venice, Italy, and she still cooks with me at the cooking school in Scottsdale, Arizona. She and my dad had a very famous restaurant in Lake Tahoe in the 1950s and 60s, and they did the wrap parties for all the entertainers who used to appear at the casino. So our regulars were Clark Gable, Nat King Cole, Marilyn Monroe, Sammy Davis Jr., Guy Lombardo, Elvis Presley, you name it. They all came and had their last night at Lake Tahoe at our restaurant. And so they loved Mama's Chicken Cacciatore, and that's what we're cooking today. Chicken Cacciatore is another one of those peasant Italian foods. It's called a hunter's stew, and it starts with chicken thighs. You could use chicken breasts, but no, use chicken thighs. They're moist, they're juicy, they're so flavorful. And what I did is I dredged the chicken thighs in a little bit of flour, and then you can put some salt and pepper on that as well. I've got a skillet in the back. I've got my chicken cooking with some oil and butter. I'm using Queen Creek olive oil today, which is so absolutely fantastic. It makes everything taste better. It's an exquisite oil. So let's go on over to the stove and we'll put all this together. So I've got my chicken thighs cooking. I wanted to get them nice and golden brown. They're cooking in that Queen Creek olive oil and a little bit of butter. Now I'm going to add even more butter because butter makes everything better, right? Then I'm going to add some Marsala wine. That makes everything better too. Now, in goes the green onions, the garlic. Got to use every single little bit of garlic. And then some mushrooms. Okay. Next, I'm going to add some tomato sauce. Now, with the chicken cacciatore, you don't really want a lot of tomato sauce. Really just enough for color. And then I'm going to add some fresh basil, fresh parsley, and a little bit of dried oregano. If you can find fresh oregano, fresh I think is always better. So now what we're going to do is just let this cook. It's going to cook for about 20 minutes. The chicken is already done. I just want to lightly braise all of the good juices, the tomatoes, the mushrooms. Okay, that's going to cook for just a few minutes. Doesn't that look so beautiful? It really is a peasant dish, one of those amazing Italian dishes that's so simple to put together. It's kind of a one-pot wonder. And when we come back, we're going to pair this with something that has become so popular and crazy. It's called Caccio e Pepe. It's simply pasta, cheese, pepper, and pasta water. But it's so delicious. You're going to love this. Okay, when we come back, we're going to wrap up this meal. Oh my goodness, my heart is so happy. Chicken cacciatore, it's a one-pot wonder. Look at this beautiful, beautiful sauce. It's got the chicken thighs, the mushrooms, the marsala, the butter, the Queen Creek olive oil in there, a little bit of fresh herbs and spices. Now, you notice one thing that I did not add yet, and that is salt and pepper. And the reason I never salt it until the end is because I don't want those tomatoes to become acidic. The longer tomatoes cook, the more acidic they become, and that's why people put sugar in their pasta sauce. You should never have to do that. So salt it at the end, and then those tomatoes will stay nice and sweet. We made the chicken cacciatore out of our cookbook, My Mama would be so proud right now. I think she would have a little checkered, napkin right here, eating away with her little glass of wine and a juice cup, right? Caccio e Pepe became so popular all of a sudden. I have no idea. It came out of nowhere. And we're serving it in my big Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese wheel. Can you believe that? And we scraped the bottom to get all that cheese in the pasta. We added some more cheese and some pepper and a little bit of the pasta water. That's what Caccio e Pepe is. Caccio e Pepe means cheese and pepper. So that is what we've got for you today. All of these recipes and many more in my cookbooks, Mama and Me and You and Rescued Recipes, and I've got hundreds more videos and recipes on my website at jandiatri.com. I want to thank Queen Creek Olive Mill for providing the olive oil that is so fantastic. It's a family farm in Queen Creek, Arizona. I'm going to add a little bit of that olive oil with the Meyer lemon. Fantastic. And I want to thank the Arizona Farm Bureau. I want to tell you one thing about the Farm Bureau in Arizona, or the growing community in Arizona. Arizona is the 4th largest producer of durum wheat in the nation. So Italy buys our wheat in Arizona, takes it back to Italy, makes pasta, and then exports the pasta to America. So we really are responsible for some good Italian cooking in Arizona. You can find out much more information if you go to fillyourplate.org, or Fill Your Plate Now is a podcast where you can learn much more about what's growing across the country, and in particular Arizona. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I want you to cook like an Italian because it'll make you happy. Remember, you're going to cook much more than you need to. You're going to make sure people eat much more than they can because food is love. You're going to eat and complain about how much you've eaten while you're planning your next meal. That's the Italian way. So I hope to see you again next time when we cook like an Italian.